I talked with a couple of girls earlier today who were in a mom's group, the very first mom's group that I ever spoke for on this topic of control, and it goes back a while. And I remember as I was preparing to speak for that very first mom's group on this topic of control, I was a Bible study leader at my church that year. And, God was working on this topic in my heart, and God did something else to open my eyes that year. I led Bible study one day, and I asked the women in my group to go around the circle and please share a prayer request about a relationship struggle that they were having. And I figured, maybe we'd hear some stories about, a difficult parenting situation, a relationship with a child, a relationship with a husband. What happened, though, is every woman around that table shared about a very controlling mom or a very controlling mother-in-law. And now, it was right before the holidays. And if there's ever a time that we kind of get controlling, it's like holidays or vacations or family picture day. Anybody? I just had family picture day. Oh, my goodness. It just brings out the worst in us, right? So we're trying to keep it all looking right, So it was right before the holidays, and these women were just feeling this burden, this stressed out, like, what is going on? And at the end, after they shared these prayer requests, I leaned in and I said, you guys, I have a question. How do we ensure that 10 or 15 years from now, it's not our daughters and our daughter-in-laws who are having these same prayer requests and we're the controlling woman in their life? How do we not become a burden? Because I don't think any of those women that we were praying about, none of them set out to be a burden to their family, right? No, what new bride, walks down the aisle and then looks into the eyes of her beloved and says, someday I'm just going to drive you crazy with all of my manipulative tactics, right? We don't do that. What new mama looks into the face of her new baby and says, oh, someday I'm just going to exasperate you with my criticisms and my demands. We don't set out to be these women who are a burden to our families or a burden in the workplace, a burden in our communities. That's not who we intend to be. But I cried at home that afternoon as I thought through those prayer requests, and I pictured someday my daughter sitting at that table and me being, because I could see it happening. I had started noticing my anger, and I have anxiety too, and my perfectionism for sure. I started noticing these things, and I had thought about what control could do to ruin an afternoon with my family or a date night with my husband. I had thought about what it could do in the short term. I had not thought about where it was taking me in life. And these sisters who were just a little further ahead of me in life, these mothers and mother-in-laws that we were praying about, these women who didn't set out to be a burden, I could see myself being exactly like these stories. And I thought, where am I headed in life? Where am I going? I'm convinced that if we just give full vent to this desire that we have to pick this thing up and push all our buttons and try and make it all turn out right, whether it's the granola crumbs in the bed or the little boys picking the noses, the way that we respond. I think little by little, women, we are becoming people that we don't want to be. And it's something that's just metastasizing and happening silently, undetected in our hearts. And I don't want to go that direction in life. You? Anybody want to go the opposite direction? Anybody want to go from control girl to Jesus girl? Yeah, I do. So in this session, what I want to do is I want to talk about how did we end up headed in this direction? Where did this problem all start with? And how can we go in the opposite direction? So I want to talk today about